that's where so much of that, our creative ability and our ability to think analytically and laterally and problem solve comes in those spaces of boredom when we haven't got so much going on. So where in your life at the moment do you need to slow down so you can improve your results for when it really matters? I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport as I see it is to see your vision become a reality, find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. Just sitting out here on the kids' old cubby that, of course, they've outgrown, thinking about something that I learned yesterday. So I'm on a couple of those running apps, keeping track of times and so on. And I caught up with a mate at football. It was grading day, so we're doing grading of the youngsters. And he was, we're just talking about our running because we see each other's progress. And I was saying, you go quite slow generally, but your top speed when you're doing something like park run or something when it's like a timed trial of some sort, it's like 2 seconds a K quicker. I'm like, what's that about? And he said, well, a new science there around actually increasing your speed in those higher intensity moments by running more within yourself to build strength. And he said it's like the biathletes who need to be able to cross-country ski long distances but then slow down to be able to shoot, and it's a whole new way of looking at it. And it was like fascinating. And so he said, well, you're going to get faster times when you do your timed runs, like fun runs and so on, if you slow down and keep your heart rate lower. So I did that today, and I found it really challenging. I found it challenging to go at a slower pace just because I've conditioned myself to go not flat out, but pretty hard most days. And it just made me think about how often that's the case in other areas of life too. Like, I've coached so many people over the years, and one of the things that they get challenged with is that slowing down, because life gets busy, right? You ask someone, how you going? And one of the first things out of their mouths is usually, man, I'm so busy. And I liked how this one guy I was listening to describe it as like, then and the other person usually doubles down and crazy busy. Like, how busy is life? And it's true. We try and jam so many different things into our life, and then we get a spare moment. You see it everywhere, and what's the usual reaction? Straight to your phone to check on something. And very rarely do we make time to slow down. Now, that's been a real priority for me in so many other areas of my life, to slow down. And it was interesting for me that in the running side of things, I found it really quite challenging. But I also learned through that run is as I got better at it through the run, was I started to be able to think more clearly and started to think about more ideas, more creativity than I would have got usually on my run. Now, generally I have things come up, but I was able to access a whole other depth to my creative thinking. And it's so true of the rest of your life too. I remember learning from the Paul and Tammy Rue's book, Sport is Life, Life is Sport, which I'm sure I'll reference many times through this podcast, learning about meditation and how much that has had a positive impact on me to slow me down. But if you're not ready to step into something like meditation, it's as something as simple as, how often are you taking the time to pause? How often are you taking the time to, when you've got some spare moments, rather than diving straight in onto your phone, like, are you just taking the time to sit? You think about our children, how their inability to be bored has led them to, well, it's as a result of, they're constantly on as well. That's where so much of that, our creative ability and our ability to think analytically and laterally and problem solve comes in those spaces of boredom when we haven't got so much going on. So where in your life at the moment do you need to slow down so you can improve your results for when it really matters? Like the running that I learned yesterday, by slowing myself down and building strength, and I've already thought about, actually, if I'm going to run like this, I could probably do some longer distances, and already toying with the idea of maybe I have got a half marathon or a marathon in me. Probably shouldn't have said that in the public domain, but anyway, it's a thought that just came to me as on the run. But more importantly, it's when I want to perform at a higher level, which I've been wanting to do. I was only thinking about it the weekend, how am I going to get my times lower? The answer showed up sort of a couple of days later, but it's going to be from slowing down when I'm doing my training and when I'm running, for not just for training, but for my overall health, not just physical, but the impact it has for me mentally as well. So for you, in other areas of your life, slowing down so when it really matters, you're going to be able to actually access more of that creative ability, more of your ability to connect with people at a different level, because you're more present, because you're thinking more clearly, because you haven't got all that noise in your head, you haven't got all of that distraction, the overstimulation of data, of information, of noise that usually creates that overwhelming chaos and swirling mix of thoughts, which often ends up with us sort of almost on autopilot at times. Where can you slow down and access more of your abilities? Where can you get even better results by allowing yourself that time to slow down? Imagine in whatever you want to perform better at, whatever you want to improve, whatever you want more self-belief in, where can you be finding space to slow down and get more clarity and switch off from all of that noise so that you can perform at your best? It's not necessarily something that you will be able to solve straight away, but the self-awareness is the first step. Being aware enough to know that, okay, there is something going on here that needs to be better is the first step. And then if you're looking for the next steps, that's where I always recommend having a personal journal. So you can catch yourself when you're doing it well, when you are slowing down, catch yourself when you're not, and then asking questions and allowing your subconscious mind to find you the answer. All right, I've slowed down. Now how do I actually improve my performance, or how do I actually get better? How do I boost my self-confidence, my self-belief at the times where it actually matters, when I do need to speed up and be at my best? Some things to ponder. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.